In this course, you will learn how to make subjects pop out, create pockets of light, create blue and golden hour light, and how to easily light flat lays. My name is Audrey Willard, and I'm here in the beautiful city of Barcelona to show you guys some tips and tricks on how to create natural looking light with flash. Don't get me wrong, I love natural light, but I like to maximize my possibilities as a photographer, and flash gives me the power to create natural looking light whenever the sun doesn't help me out. My goal with this course is to make you guys inspired, build your self-confidence with making natural light with flash. I know some of you think that flash always looks artificial, harsh, or that it's just too complicated to control. This is so wrong. The first thing you need to know is how light works.
Hello and welcome to Academy Live episode 43.
Woohoo!
43. Welcome, welcome.
Today is actually an anniversary. It's our 1 year anniversary. We've been doing
One
this
full year of Academy Lives.
a lot of enlightenment and interest. We decided to celebrate with a special episode. So we actually have two special guests. We have Mira and Thilda.
Hello. Hello.
and as our guests, some of you might recognize Mira and Thilda if you've been following Profoto's website. There's actually been a special with you. You did a little trip, which we're going to come back and talk about. And so we thought there would be an excellent opportunity to have some guests. And we've never been this many people at Profoto Academy.
Now we're 4 people now.
Yes.
Really
So
honored.
4 people, 1 year anniversary,
Yeah.
and the two of you.
Yes, it feels
And I
amazing.
need
We feel honored.
Yeah, it looks like
to be
sound
here.
levels are all okay. We have, of course, some Swedes here. We have Amsterdam. We have
This is Anders
David from
going away
Scotland.
watching the screen.
Yes, exactly. So I got. We can't have all the stuff here, so I have it right here.
Yeah, so you see you're behind when you're
Ooh.
leaning, but that's nice.
Yeah, well, we all might not agree with that. So, but anyway. But welcome to.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
We're
Thank you.
honored to be here celebrating your 1 year.
Yes.
Yes.
And we're actually going to. We're curious. We want to talk about who you are, and what you shoot, and
How you shoot and
and why
everything.
not.
Yeah.
And also go through gears and look at images. We got loaded tons of images that we're going to talk about, and it's an honor to have you here. Since you are not only working a lot with Profoto, you're also working a lot with Canon, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
Yes.
We are
Yeah.
Canon
Ambassadors.
Yes.
and shooting with Canon and
Yeah.
Profoto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just begin with Profoto though. But yeah,
Cool. And you are sisters, right?
Yes.
so I am Thilda.
And I'm Mira. I'm the big sister, and this is my little sister.
Well, it's only 3 years though, but
Yeah, we are sisters.
I'm
and
actually taller than you now.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Because the heels though.
It don't happen so often, but yes.
Yeah, so we're sisters and we've been working together for 9 years now.
Yeah.
Is it so long?
Yes.
Yeah.
We grew up on the countryside, 1 hour from Stockholm, in a house in the middle of nowhere.
Ah.
Our parents moved there, if you want to know this. Inspired by the Green Wave.
Yeah.
And that's where we started shooting because it wasn't so much other things to do.
So that was for 9 years ago.
More, I
Or
think.
No,
Yeah,
it
we
was
started,
like 30 years ago when we moved there.
yeah, but when we started shooting, it was 10 years ago, I think.
Yes.
But we started working together
Yeah.
9 years ago, something like that. Okay, 1 year after. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
did you start shooting at the same time? Like,
Yeah,
let's bring up a camera and
Yeah,
try
it
this
was
out.
it wasn't so much to do. So
Yeah.
we bought a camera and then we started to shoot and like taking the bicycles to abandoned places in the countryside and we were just playing around with our camera and that's where we began.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did any of your parents shoot anything?
No, our parents they are artists, so we
learned ourselves.
Yeah.
We tried out everything and learned what to do and what to not do also. So it's been a trip.
Yes.
And what are you shooting?
Ourselves? No, but we're shooting
A lot of lifestyle and landscapes, and we love to take photos of colorful things and
dreamy landscapes and
Yes.
travel.
Yeah, because dreamy landscapes. I think that is a really good description because it always have in all your images. It's really dreamy. Everything is so beautiful and
Thank you.
dreamy. I think that is a really good explanation for.
I'll show some images while
your
you're talking.
style. Yes, Anders. Why don't you bend like?
Oh, I'll try to keep my butt in. Here's your Instagram account, Mira and Mira Thilda.
Mira Thilda, exactly.
Mira Thilda.
Go and follow; it's awesome.
No, but we'd like to take our viewers to our kind of own world, if you describe like that.
Yeah,
And yeah,
and you have done some changes to your Instagram account, right? And worked with your flow.
yes. When we started up and when we started to use Instagram before we had a blog, it didn't go so well because we had like a lot of different kind of pictures. One was like really
dark and one
black
was
and-
green and then it was like a really bad mix of a lot of different photographies and then we started to
look at what everybody else did, like what they did to expect you when you follow someone, you expect like one kind of style and you expect some kind of pictures, and then we started to create our own style and start to use the same colors and start to shoot with the same with different kind of backgrounds, but you edit them in a special way. So that's what we did to our Instagram, and that's what made it a little bit better.
So that
Cool.
way of really having a red thread, so to speak, in Instagram was the way for you to find your style.
Exactly.
That is interesting.
Yes, so
That's
that's what we did.
Okay, so it was like, okay, we have to be more consistent on our style. Let's do that, and then your
Exactly.
Instagram account flourished and became
Oh, I'm just
wonderful.
so. Let's see here. So right now I'm going to show an image which is kind of not typical Mira and Thilda image. It's a picture with two fighters.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that image? I love it. It's really cool.
This
Is
is
it a recent picture?
Yeah, it was like 1 year ago. This is those kind of pictures that we don't put on our Instagram, but
Yeah.
we work with a lot of other missions as well. But this is two fighters. Ilir is one of the best fighters in
MMA
Sweden.
fighter.
Yeah. And this was for a commercial campaign.
Yeah, exactly. And I like this picture because it's like it's a mix between fighting and hugging in some
Yeah.
kind of way.
Yeah, it's some
And
kind of calm, dreamy.
I don't know.
And they
Yeah.
are still strong, and it is a fight. So it's a cool, dynamic feeling of it.
Well, thank you. You're
It's
really
really cool.
good models.
Flip
Also.
over.
Yes.
And there's you.
There is
Thilda.
me,
Yeah.
exactly, laying on the ground with a lot of flowers.
Yeah,
like
this is
you
like
do.
typical Instagram pictures.
Exactly. Okay, so that is a typical Instagram picture.
And here's one of the typical dreamy landscape images that we're showing now.
Yes,
Yes.
from Grand Canyon
Yeah.
in the States.
Yes.
Exactly.
So you've been traveling a lot.
Yeah, we love to travel and take a camera with us on our adventures.
And we bring our viewers to our adventures also. And
Yeah.
so this was, we were waiting for the light to,
For the sun to set.
Exactly.
So we had like 5 minutes and
before
we
it
were
went down.
waiting a lot of hours.
Yeah.
But then it was like the sun took up the beautiful scenery with all the mountains and colored everything to golden and pink
And you were like, "Way!"
Yeah, exactly.
finally.
Run up to the hill. There with my
it's
camera.
like
It's like
200 meters down, but I did it. It was worth it.
Okay. How do you decide who is going to be in front of camera?
I like we
since you're both
usually
shooting,
yeah we're usually like first Mira is behind the camera, and
Yeah.
then I'm in front of the camera, and then we just mix.
Yeah.
Yes.
We put on some clothes, and then we just like
Yeah.
running around and shooting.
Okay.
So we don't plan so much, I don't think.
So when you go to, let's say, Grand Canyon, how many % of the time are you focused in photography, and how many % is out drinking and having fun?
It's
If you have-
50-50. No, but it's like, for us, it's really important that it's not so staged, that you're really like living the pictures that we
Yeah.
want to create. So you have to have fun and be there, and actually be there, not like to do
Just
stage it
stage
up.
pictures.
No, exactly. So we like to go on a road trip and then document it, and then
Yeah.
we'd like to like take the car to Grand Canyon, enjoy it, take a walk, and then
If it
put on a
happens.
kimono and shoot.
Yeah,
Explains
if
a
it
lot, because I've been wondering how you get the presence in your images,
Exactly.
because there is always this, you feel like you are there and you are truly kind of, wow, I can't find words, but that you're really in the moment and you are at the place. But now I understand why, because you are there, you are experiencing all this, and you are.
You are really
thank
lying
you.
on
We're really
yeah,
lying
food
on the
flowers.
grass when we take pictures. Yeah,
No,
it's
but I
just
mean-
a green screen.
But if you only stage things, I mean, you could tell that it's a staged picture. But
Sometimes we do, but mostly
It's,
we
yeah.
don't. We are actually living.
Yeah, sometimes
in-
it's like when you're home and you're living your normal day life, and you have
Yeah.
to create something, and it's like, okay, what the fuck,
Stockholm
what
is
should we do?
boring, and it's like bad weather, and it's not so inspiring. Then you have to create something more fun.
Yeah, of course.
But
yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
acting. You go into a
Yes.
role, and then you like pretend that you're living a nice life
Yeah,
and
yeah.
take some pictures.
But outside it's raining.
But when you're traveling and really experiencing, and when you're on the road, and then it's so much easier, I think.
Yeah.
But most of the time we're not. So then
Okay.
you have to
No.
stage and kind of like go into this role of something
Yeah.
that.
So if we put this in one way of telling how you like to work, it is to put yourself in the position, in that lifestyle, and then shoot that lifestyle.
Yeah, but mostly it's because we want to go on a road trip and want to
Yes.
experience Grand Canyon, and then the camera is only like a bonus. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
So, but
and you've shot in the past a lot with ambient light.
yes.
Why is that?
We bought free flashes a long time ago, I think like 7-8 years ago.
I think it was like 10 years ago, but
Because one
Yeah.
photographer said, yeah, you have to buy some flashes, and we bought free flashes, big ones also.
Okay. And he was
And,
like that. You have to buy.
not
new-
one, by
Free,
Three.
yes,
Yes.
free flashes.
Three.
And we
Yeah.
tried to use those flashes, but it was like a techno strobe party. It was like one flash went off, and then the other flash went off, and it was too much.
Yeah,
There's so many
and we
like
never
buttons. and-
managed to take one photo that we actually liked, because no photo ended up in the way we wanted to.
And we had
So-
those like inspiring photos
Yeah.
that we wanted to create, but it was too hard. It was like a whole new. It was too much for two young girls, and
Yeah.
no one to ask really. So
And we didn't have so
wouldn't-
much patience as
No,
well.
exactly. And then we started not to use flashes because it was a little bit too scary, I think. And then we started to use natural light because
Yeah,
then you see
the
everything.
sun, you
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
how the picture will look like, because it's just there. You see
Yeah.
it with your eyes, and with flashes you have to think more. And
Especially when it's like too many buttons, then you have to think even more than
Yes.
like even
Yeah,
with Pro
and,
Photo,
and
I
if
think.
I think that, I mean, thinking of how a flash works, that is this part of the brain, and feeling
And creating.
and
yeah.
creating, that is another part of the
Yes.
brain,
Exactly.
and you can't use both of them at the same time. So,
No.
and especially if you are used to feeling your images, to feel something, then it's really hard to be like really
Yeah.
logical and learning all the buttons and stuff. So
Exactly.
a lot of buttons can be really scary, and I think that is why.
And if you say a lot of bottoms, it was not Pro Photo, right?
No,
No.
it was not.
Because there's not a lot of buttons on the Pro Photo
No,
stuff
exactly.
in general. But
And-
then you've been contacted by Pro Photo,
Yes.
and initially it was for a test, right? You were testing something new, secret.
Yes.
And I think it was like the A1.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last spring.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, last spring. Yeah.
So, and that was mainly because Profoto wanted to understand, or wanted to learn and understand how does natural light shooters like you, how do you work? I mean, what's happening in the head, and why your workflow and so on. So it was part of the Profoto's learning process for developing. You have worked with speedlights and flashes in the past.
Yes.
And then you stopped using them, and now you're shooting a lot of natural. I'm doing a recap in case, because I don't know exactly where it got cut off.
Yeah.
It's good that you can explain also what you're saying,
And
because
then
your
maybe-
English is so
Yeah,
bad.
maybe I was even listening, and so now it's a test.
Yeah, exactly. What happened then?
What happened then? And you were talking about you were shooting a lot of natural light because you see actually what's happening.
Exactly, yes.
And then David started talking about his brains.
Yes, left
Because
side,
some people
right
have
side.
brain half, but I think you have two brains. Like you have one flash brain and then you have a creative brain. Because the flash brain, I mean, you do so many creative, good things, cool things with flash. And sometimes we don't agree on everything.
No,
Some
but
of the theories that we on late Saturday night when we
yeah,
bounce
that-
back.
exactly. Then I think we might disagree, but I think we all agreed that the brain thing here was that technical part is different from the aesthetic
Creative,
and creative
yeah.
part.
Exactly.
And that's why when you have products with a lot of buttons and are very technical, it's hard when you are in a creative process
Yeah.
to combine those two.
Exactly, and
Very good point.
you want to come to the result that you're aiming for, not directly, but kind of quick, because otherwise it's getting
It
too hard,
dies.
and you just drop it.
And I
The
mean, if
feeling,
you have been going to Grand Canyon, and you have only 5 minutes because the sun is perfect, then you can't start thinking about all the technical stuff.
No.
So it's almost always a stressful situation.
Yeah.
And then Profoto contacted you guys as part of the research that Profoto did when they were developing the A1. So we asked, we were looking, okay, so what's the strangest we can find, and we found you two and some other natural light shooters. Like, no, but like, why do they only shoot with natural light? Why not flash? It's so cool. And we need to understand how they think. So that's when you got invited. And,
Thank you.
and
Now we know why.
Scary Mira and Thilda.
Yeah, no, but you were not alone in that group.
No,
There were a lot
good.
of people. Yeah. And that's where basically our trip started.
Yes.
Together as a company and Mira and Thilda. And then you now work with Big B10 and the A1s, and we actually sent you on a mission.
Yeah.
To Marrakesh.
Yes. So we actually put some products in your hands and go and have fun, because we had some training, or we were talking about how light works. And you mentioned that you've been to Marrakesh, and there were some pictures that
We could not take.
Exactly.
That we wanted to take. It was a dream picture.
Yeah.
In Medina, but the light is really bad because it's like a bad roof with some light streams that leaks in. And the light is kind of
It's
low.
so beautiful when you look at it, but it's really hard to catch if you have a person in the picture, Thilda for example, because Thilda gets really dark or really light, and then you
we never managed to
get the
take
feeling
this
that
picture.
you-
So we went back to Marrakesh with a A1
Yeah.
and Echo.
And we also were very keen on making sure that you understand how to use flash in a way that you don't have to change your Instagram flow kind of look and feel, and not use flash to kind of take over your images, but how can you use it to enhance the images and be able to take the images that you want when you want.
Yeah, and the flash thing is still really new for us.
Yeah.
But it's really fun though.
But so why don't we take a look at a little clip that you made for us
From Marrakesh.
from Marrakesh.
From Marrakesh.
Okay.
and kind of the process, and then we'll talk about what happened and how it went.
Cool.
So I'm gonna
Okay.
cut off David's sound here.
My sound is
David is
I
off.
Yes.
And
yes. I can cooperate.
and video starts.
So for us it's very important that the technology is easy to use and easy to learn, so we can focus on the fun stuff, creating the imagery that we want to, and working together. I'm Thilda and I'm a photographer, together with my sister Mira. We are sisters and we have been working together for 9 years now. Before, we have always been natural light shooters, until now, using Profoto Connect and A1. We've been to several places in Marrakesh before that we've been trying to shoot on, but failed because of the lack of light. This time we came back to the heart of Medina and gave it a new try with our gear, and here is the results. A long time ago, we bought some flashes. But we couldn't make them work together or get the result that we wanted. This time, the gear was so much easier to learn, and the first time using ProPhoto, we got the result that we were aiming for. Basically, we set up the flash, we put on the ProPhoto Connect on the camera, put it on auto mode, and then we tried out and started shooting. Using the app makes everything on set so much easier for us. You can control the light by using your phone. It is as simple as that. This trip has been like a starting point of something new. Not being so dependent on the natural light has given us endless of opportunities to create.
And there we go. I think we are back.
Yes.
And David, let me check if David says hello.
Yes, this is my voice, and
Oh, perfect. So we're all back.
Cool.
So that was a nice video, very creative. I love the way that you worked with both sound and images.
Thank you.
It's really cool.
So, good friend Marcus was with us on the trip.
Yeah.
So credits to him.
Yes.
Credit to Marcus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well done. That was a very interesting video and an interesting trip, I'd say. And we also have a few images that we can talk about. Let's see, I'm actually keen on. Here's a behind-the-scene image, kind of behind-the-scene
Kind of
image.
behind the scene image. We took it afterwards because when we were in the Medina
Yeah.
and shot, it was only me and Mira, so
Yeah.
Marcus took it afterwards.
Yes.
And the image that you took was this one,
Exactly.
which I think it's just magical. I love this one.
And this was the kind of picture that we never managed to take before
Exactly.
using flashes because it never went good. Good.
The light was too harsh or too bad, and
Yeah.
it was lack of
Just-
light.
yeah.
So it was a revenge. Coming back and take the picture that we always wanted to take. So
Yeah.
it felt good.
Yeah, so it's really, really well executed. I mean, because here again, you're balancing the background with the flash so well. I mean, it's just
That's what you learned us to do, to think about.
yeah,
to
but it's
only-
just magical. I think that image is so cool.
And was that Marcus with the hat? That
Oh,
walked
yeah.
by?
Yeah, he's Marcus.
We got one comment from Richard, one of our Dutch guys, if we still talk, answer questions from photographers in Netherlands after the Eurovision. And yes, we do. It was the right song that won Eurovision. It was
So
a very
please, you're welcome to pop in the
Yeah.
questions anyway.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I think that that beautiful image, what Anders was talking about,
Yeah,
how you
this one.
balance it with the background, that is all I would say almost always the problem when using flash when it looks like shit, so to speak. Is that either the background is too dark, which makes the flash, you know, it doesn't
Work
play
together.
together,
Yeah.
work together exactly. So that is almost always the problem when flash looks like, you know,
Too flashy.
too
looks
flashy.
flashy,
in a
yeah.
bad
Exactly.
way.
Yeah, and also
Yeah.
when we bought flashes, we were never thinking that we could actually bring out the flashes outdoors.
No.
So we bought also a backdrop, a white backdrop,
Yeah,
and took other kind of pictures than we usually took. So that's why we kind of lost ourselves somehow,
Yeah.
like first time shooting with flashes.
But being
So-
able to take flashes outdoors with you, it's like a new world for us.
Yeah. Exactly.
But it's in a way I'm kind of upset and almost angry because I mean I still remember it was not that long ago when we were here in the studio and we chit-chatted and played around with some of the tools here, and I told you, well, you guys need to go back home and you need to look at this class, Fundamentals of Lighting with David, and you did, and then we sent you to Marrakesh, and then you come back with these images, which is they are a little bit too good, too soon. So
That's kind of you.
no, but I really try to find things comment or critique you on, but I can't, and it frustrates me. So please, you need to mess up a little bit with images next time.
And we did also. Yes. 95% of the rest of the pictures.
Yeah, of course.
is shit.
And please do, because that's also part of the fun. Is also
Show those images to others so you can calm down.
yeah.
Certified.
No, it was super fun and hard.
Yeah, but
to
but
learn.
I must say that you're really doing a great job. And here's another picture where you are out in the desert, right?
Yeah, we're in a desert, in a big tent that we were staying over for one night, and it was like this kind of beautiful but bad photo light.
It was red because
Yeah,
the
red
tent
and
was
kind
red.
of dark, and really wanted to take a picture inside of it. But without flashes, we could never been able to do anything inside because everything was going like.
No, so we
really
asked
orange.
you about like how can we take this picture that we want to take? How can we like create this smoke that we want to have in the picture?
Yeah.
And because we had no idea how to do that. But you told us like use the backlight and then you will get the smoke and then you will do something like. And then we tried out and it actually went well.
worked.
Yeah, it worked.
But it's so cool. I mean, you make it sound a little bit that like you don't know what you're doing. But I can tell you that you do know what you're doing. You're very competent photographers. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here, and you wouldn't be working with Canon as closely as you are.
And I think, sorry to interrupt you, but I think that the last image where you said that it's a bit too good. I think it's because you are competent photographers, and that part is, in your stomachs. You feel what is right. You feel when it looks like you want to.
Yeah, because it's not only the light; it's also the composition. There's so many elements that
so
are
many
fantastic.
elements.
So
And
it's
that
really
is what
cool.
makes a
Thank you.
photographer to be.
We've been practicing a little bit.
Yeah, nobody. It's really. But on that image, the past one where you were in the Medina, you were just hand holding the flash, right?
Yeah, you
'Cause
were.
we got
I
a
was
question on
holding
that.
it like this, and then
Yeah.
a camera like that, and
Because
Yeah.
you don't have you couldn't be able like there to have a rig because it's a lot of people
Yeah.
and it's a
Yes.
donkey coming by
and then it's a snake, a cobra,
yeah, and then it's a lot of tourists
messy.
Yeah.
and so you have to be like really quick like
Yes.
yeah, come with the camera and I was running to there and there. So that's but no so it was like only you and the A1 in the hand
Yeah,
and me standing in front of the picture.
yeah,
And
and then
then-
Marcus stepping by.
Yeah. Marcus with the big hat.
Yes.
Yeah, Marcus with a big hat.
Yeah. So this image in the tent, I can see there that you have,
Two
or
lights.
what do I see? I see two lights.
Yes.
Okay, one on the floor is shooting.
Yeah, one on the floor that is
Studsar, how does it studsar?
Bouncing.
Bouncing.
Yeah.
Yeah, bouncing.
bouncing to a white. I think it was white
Yeah,
fabric.
yeah.
And then we have one flash in the back, so we
So we could get the smoke.
from the
From
scents.
this, yeah, exactly.
And so the little flash on the ground. First, when I saw this image quickly, when you sent out the images, and I looked on the server, and great! I'm gonna jump on this one because you're lighting from below, and I was like,
Yeah,
and I was
that
like,
was,
no, wait a minute, they're bouncing and they're making a large.
But it actually like he came a little bit from
Yeah, but
Yeah.
still,
so
what you
So
have is,
flattering.
but still, you have created.
In the
You
face.
use this little light source. You bounce it against the fabric, which makes it a big light source, and then you get this nice soft light. So
yeah.
And I can put in a tip, actually, a really good one for that thing. You know, the bounce card, is that the name for the product?
yes,
When you have the bounce card, you can block it out so you won't get any spill out.
exactly.
That's
Then
so
you don't
smart.
get
Yeah. Next time in the tent,
Yeah.
we will use
Next
the
time in a
that.
tent,
Yes.
No, because
And
this
not
is
in a
something that David's been hammering in my head as well. Is two things. One, the bounce card, and I'm starting to use the bounce card not only to bounce but also flag
to
away.
flag away.
Use it as a flag so that you don't
You
bounce light.
showed us one time. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
On
different.
Ken.
yeah.
Kent.
Ken, yeah,
Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can be Kent, we can be Kenza or Kenza or anything. No, but and that's one thing. And then the other one is, which really stuck in my head, is that whenever you see the light source, I mean, if you have an A1, if you see physically when you're sitting and posing, and you can see part of the light, you will get light on you.
Yes, that's a really good tip actually.
And yeah, so it's from David, and so I always
I
try.
invented that now. No, that's
No,
just
but sometimes
that is
if
the-
you have it tilted, for example, and you might think, oh no, it's now it's tilted away, but you might still see a little bit of white, and then you will get light on you. So whenever you have a light
really
source,
good tip.
Yeah.
So that could also be for whoever, since you're both in front of the camera. You can also say, well, oh, I should not see this light, but I actually do see a little bit. So can you just twist it a little bit more, and then you don't get light on
It's
you.
so easy when you know it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like everything. So it's really easy. But then this one resulted in this image. That was the final product.
That is beautiful.
Isn't it? I mean, it makes me mad.
But you can actually like see that it is a little bit like I got the light from a little bit underneath.
Yeah.
But
So-
not much. It's not.
But it was really fun because we used 2 flashes instead of 1 flash.
Yes.
It was totally new for us.
And now we're inspecting, and you should see this. It's me and David critically inspecting the image on the computer. So it's
Feels really
just,
scary.
And I actually think that is, I mean, it's kind of simple what you did. I mean, you have one light shooting on the wall or the fabric,
Yeah.
one backlight. I mean, it's 2 lights, but still, it's really beautiful. And I mean, well, for me,
You're
when
outside of images. so
Oh,
you-
sorry.
How would you do it if you
I would do it exactly the same.
But
Well, but, of course, I can say a lot of buts. You can do a lot of things differently.
yeah.
One thing I particularly, how should I put it? One thing I always keep an eye for is if I now will walk up to the image because I need to point out what I'm meaning, and I will come back. And this is nothing that is wrong, right?
Yeah.
This is just what I always look for. This part, the floor,
Yeah.
this how bright it is here and how bright it is there. When you do this, just this small section darker,
Then it's
then you get more of a
Something
feeling
happens.
of a
That's
natural
so true.
thing.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah,
yes.
and you can achieve that just by flagging,
Yeah.
or I mean,
Photoshopping.
photoshopping. I mean,
Flashing.
sometimes you can't do that, of course. But that is something I always look for when I have
Yeah.
light on a floor.
Yes.
I
That's a
always
really good
try
tip.
to
But
make it
If it
just a
would
tad
be
darker.
only like natural light, then it could be like the sun or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's we should really think about that.
Yeah,
the next time.
vignetting. How
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah,
But
to make
but reality.
vignetting in reality,
Yeah. Exactly.
because then it never looks Photoshop.
No.
And that's good.
Yes. And that is also when you're shooting like food photography or product photography. When you have light, let's say you have a tabletop photography
Yeah.
picture like that, and you have light coming like this. If you make the start of the light, so to speak, if you make it darker in the beginning, then it feels more like it's like a window or something instead of like just flat. But
Yeah.
I mean,
It's so true.
it's nothing wrong, but it's a good tip because
That's a really good tip.
to
But
really
how do
make
you do
those.
it? When you
Then you can put.
Yeah, like if you have a flash, now maybe I'm
Yeah,
out of
you-
picture.
don't.
If you have a flash here, I mean, if you just put up something here to block it, so
Yeah.
you get this shadow here, then it will be darker.
smart.
Yeah. Or if you have like a softbox.
Yeah.
No,
then you
David's
do-
hands are in the.
Yeah. If you have like a softbox, if you tilt it up, then you get the shadow. You can,
from
you can
the
let the
softbox.
shadow creep in and create that vignetting thing.
Oh, that's nice.
That's really good.
With the recessed front, you can do that.
Yeah, with the recessed front.
And we have a question from our Dutch friend regarding beauty dishes and softboxes, but we'll get back to that at the end. So we promise we will not forget you. So moving on to some other images. I love this one as well. When you're standing in this bathroom with this nice window light.
It's
Yeah,
crazy beautiful.
That it's not a window light.
It isn't. What is it?
What is it?
What could it be?
Flash! It's a A1
Yeah.
in the roof.
No, it's actually no windows in that bathroom in Marrakesh. Yeah, no. So it was a really dark bathroom with only like tungsten lights. Yeah, that was not so flattering. So then we took the A1 and
Put it on the
umbrella.
yeah, and put it on the stand, and
Yeah.
we had like the flash here, something, and the umbrella, and then Thilda is standing in the picture
Yeah.
with a big hat.
Yeah.
And that's also, I think it's so well executed because it fooled me first when you look at it, I was like, well, but where did you use the flash? Are you using the flash to lighten up the shadows, or? And then I realized, no, wait a minute. What if the window is the flash? So that's really.
No, it was really actually. This picture was so easy. That it was like only one flash, one umbrella, me standing there. So we took it in 5 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. Flash doesn't have to be
No,
complicated.
that was it felt like so nice. It was so easy, and it actually like became a good picture with the hats that got the.
Yeah, the straws.
Yes.
Yeah, that really how do you say it? Fångar, captures the light, in a depth
And that
dimension.
couldn't take with the sun, like to control this light
Yeah.
and not being dependent on the sun and waiting the last few minutes. I
Exactly.
don't think we could get it.
No,
without
not in the same.
But it was really fun
way.
because we had like no light at all and had to build up this. Only.
Yes, and I never thought it would end up like this because it was super dark and stuff. But
Yeah. And something, if I should be some kind of person right now that is going to say something like, you could do
Please
like
do.
this or not,
yes, we love that.
I wouldn't change anything because I think it's beautiful. But what I think is interesting here is the level of light in the background and on the clothing,
Yeah.
because it's just perfect.
But no,
I think so, because I mean, if let's say that you had the background even darker, I think that would make it more flashy. If you have the background more brighter, I think it would have a totally different feeling of it. And what my point is, when you have your umbrella like that, of course, let's say that you were the model because you were closer to me now. If you have the umbrella, if you have the umbrella like this, of course you will have the light, but the background would also have the light. And when you turn the umbrella, then you control that vignetting again, so you can control how much light will end up on the background. So you actually control the light on the background to have that perfect balance.
Yeah.
And the balance is super important. And of course you can do that in Photoshop afterwards, but when you do it, directly, then it's magical.
And that's the third thing that David always pounds in my head. That is the thing that so often we are standing with, if it's a soft box, it's like smack like this. Instead of daring to move it, twist it, and because you control so much.
With only like centimeters.
Yeah, and also if I don't want to have light, David has ugly shoes. Then if I have a soft box, I can tilt it upwards, and the shoes will be completely dark. So then it will kind of creep into darkness, and I will still have light on David's beautiful face. Well,
Or
David's
if
face.
I had beautiful shoes, then
I can do the opposite.
opposite.
Exactly. So you can control that, and don't be afraid of, twisting and moving things. Nothing will break. It's only light, right? So that's experimenting and trying, and sometimes, because that's when you really shape your light. And sometimes when you see, okay, now it looks, when you use modeling light, for example, and then now it looks good, but then you might be pointing in a very, very strange direction. But
that doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter, because the only thing that matters is what actually happens in the image.
It's
And
so
so-
interesting.
Yes.
But again, well executed. You piss me off. Here's another interesting one where the flash is not dominant.
You can actually see the flash in the picture, I think.
Yep. It is exactly in front of Mira.
Yeah.
It was good that we didn't.
Is it right there?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here it's really like a bad lightning on the day if we should zoom in. But we weren't able to put it on a stand because it was really windy. And
But still, it's kind of exciting because you could have like a campfire or something else that might be lighting up from here.
that was exactly our thought.
We're always so well
campfire.
planned when we take photos.
So,
No, but Thilda was like, I don't know, 15 meters away from me, and with a big camera and lens. Big lens.
Yeah, we wanted to like still have the view and still have the background, but we wanted that people should have the eyes on Mira also. So we tried out this composition.
Yes.
And it's so beautiful. It looks like, it's a really big set. You have 15 people who build a tent, and then you
Yes, of course.
flew in those
Yeah,
mountains in the background.
Always
And
That's how we
mean,
work always.
Yeah.
Yes, big team.
I mean, the repetition of the tent's shape and the hill in the background, and then the mountain in the background
exactly.
again.
Yeah.
That was our thought also.
No, we're never like that planned when we take photos.
But then
Because then there's something in your gut feel that just
that you feel that
you feel
this
there's
feels better.
Yes.
something clicks
Yeah.
because there's so many things that are so right.
And now I saw the hill, the fourth small one, you know, the pile of dirt or whatever. What is that? Oh, it's something.
Oh, it's another tent.
Yes, exactly. So you have the same repetition of the shapes there just going on.
Yeah, so for the audience, we talk about this repetition here. So you get the kind of a line going straight through the image. It's nice, really nice. We're overanalyzing this.
We're just gonna play with
It's
it.
beautiful. What he said.
Well, in art, it's okay to have a efterkonstruktion.
To construct something afterwards.
Yeah, in art, you don't have to know what you're doing and then do it. You can do it the opposite way around. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's good.
But it's, really cool. And then we have this image here.
Yeah, this is Mira sitting in the hotel room in a, what's it called? In a Riyadh and Riyadh. Is it called Riyadh?
Riyadh,
Riyadh.
And the lighting there was also really bad. It
Yeah.
was actually like a roof of the Riyadh, so it's not natural light. We have a E1 and an umbrella just outside the doors.
No, inside, in front of me actually.
Yeah, inside. Yeah.
Yes. So it was like this really beautiful Riyadh, and inside of the Riyadh it's often a garden, and it was like a really soft light streaming in from the roof, but it was really dark inside of the hotel room, and
So we put on the flash and the umbrella
Yes.
and created this picture.
and then we took a picture.
But you went with you had did you have any soft boxes or umbrellas? What did you?
One big umbrella.
One big umbrella.
One
with the
silver,
silver.
with the silver umbrella.
No, white inside.
White
Was
inside.
it white inside?
I think so.
I think it was silver.
And
but
then you had the
doesn't matter.
diffusion.
No.
No diffusion.
No.
Only on the flash.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. So a white umbrella.
Without any diffusion.
And I think it was medium.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, but it was kind of big, but not too big.
Exactly.
So
And I think it was
medium.
medium.
Lagom.
Yeah,
The Swedish word lagom.
Yeah.
It's medium.
Yeah, and I think so. Your flashlight actually filled that part from of the otherwise totally dark.
Exactly.
space.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
otherwise if we tried to take the picture without the flash and it went really dark.
Yeah.
Like
Anders,
black.
sorry, could you? Oh no, it's fine. Yes, if you show that image again, I want to do my thing, point out something that I really like. I want to ask you. I want to hear why, and that is not negative or positive. It's just neutral. Why did you put the flash on the left side of the image? Why not on the right side?
Because we wanted to make it look natural.
And we wanted the depth.
Yeah, depth. Yeah.
It's a really hard word.
Okay, so if you would have it put a light on the right side, it would have less depth, and it wouldn't look natural.
No.
Yeah.
No, we wanted to just fill in this where the light would have been if it would be lighter.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we wanted to create a natural way kind of looking light and keep the depth.
Exactly, because and I think I understand when you said that. Oh, they were too good to be so new into flashlight. I think that is key. What they do, because they naturally. Sorry, I speak over your head now. I'm so rude.
Yeah, if you could leave this on, let the two of us talk I think we just
because
fascinated.
they read the light, the natural light, and continue what the nature already does.
Yeah.
They read the direction. And use that, but because I think that many people, there's a shadow there. Let's put the light, so we remove the shadow.
Yeah.
And that is not the way you do it. You have to read what nature does and continue it, maybe extend it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is why it looks so natural, because you're doing what nature could have been done. I mean,
and you're
sun couldn't have-
enhancing, extending. So whatever you're doing, don't stop doing it. You're doing exactly right.
No, we love this
I'm
with the flashes.
jealous.
Yes.
I'm jealous because you do things that I really struggle. I have to think, and I have to use my logical part to, okay, what would nature do? And then I have to do. But for you, it just comes so natural. So it's.
I think that's called talent.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not familiar with that word. Never heard it before.
We tried to take another picture in a corner
Yes.
and we didn't like it, so then we tried to take like in 3 different locations, and then we found this spot,
Yeah.
and it went.
We started
well.
to actually think,
Yeah.
where does the light come from? And
Yeah.
then we,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think that the next time you end up in a similar situation, you will benefit from, what does the light already do? How would it be if it were as we wanted to be from nature?
yeah,
Because that is never wrong.
Yeah.
Don't work against the nature, always work with the nature.
It's a good tip.
Yeah.
yeah, good tip.
But that's also, since you're traveling a lot, I of course assume that you are traveling with, shooting with iPhones or a small mirrorless camera.
No, we're not.
No.
We have this. I love the big camera.
Yeah, I
So
love
you're
to
shooting with a.
A Canon Mark
5D
5D Mark IV.
Yeah.
5D Mark IV, and
Yes.
we have 24/7 2.8
Yeah.
lens, and then we have 70 to
200.
200
Yeah.
that I love.
It is nice.
amazing.
lens.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
So
then you're
nice.
all set. We have a 30 millimeters as
35
Yeah.
millimeters, yeah.
1.4.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like most of the time we only use the 24/7 and or 5D Mark IV.
Yeah.
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 But I like to have it should be heavy, or not heavy, but,
But
you,
it feels nice to
Yeah.
have the camera in your hand, and it's not so shaken. You feel the click, and it's like
Yeah, it's a kind
Yes.
of
real.
stable. It's easy to grab on.
Yeah.
I
It's
love
an
it.
instrument of creating
Yeah.
art.
And you
Yeah.
can of course shoot with an iPhone, but we like to also work with the pictures afterwards.
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
those kind of things also.
Mm.
Yeah, because
So-
you tried some other mirrorless cameras, but they were not. Remember when we talked to you last time, a couple of weeks ago, you mentioned that, well, but you couldn't really work with the images in the same way as you can do with the.
With the big camera.
With
No.
the
I love
5D,
it.
yeah.
And
Yes.
we're
And it's
always
also, I
using.
mean, it's such a personal thing. What feels good in your hand and what you feel
Exactly.
you can take
comfortable.
really beautiful pictures with an iPhone as well.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
a
yeah.
smaller camera, but we just like the feeling of having it.
and
Yeah.
we've always been using.
And afterwards, it's having something.
Yeah,
to
you're the
pictures.
nerd afterwards, so.
Yeah, I love Lightroom and Photoshop, and then it's
Yeah, because
really
in your
different.
workflow, as I understand it, you both shoot,
Yeah.
you both pose in front of the camera, but when it comes to retouching and the post-production,
I fell in love with
It's mess.
Photoshop 10
Yeah.
years ago, and then it's my biggest love still. So I think it's really funny because you can do so much afterwards with editing, and you can set the feeling of the picture and just, I don't know, it's amazing.
And you
It's
both,
hard to explain.
and your parents were artists,
Yeah.
so that is where the artist genes come in Photoshop. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know.
the black sheep. You say black sheep?
yeah,
No artistic child in the family. No.
but you are not into Photoshop.
I'm working more with film, and Mira is working more with Photoshop. So,
But you know what you want, and I'm just trying to get what you want in the end.
so I'm the boss.
Yes,
You're the boss.
yes, and I
the
try
black
to.
sheep boss.
Yeah,
black sheep boss.
yeah, I could like edit like 20 different versions of the same picture and just ask Thilda, but no, this is not good. This is kind of good, and this is good. And so she's the one who
Yeah.
decides what.
Is it a secret, your workflow, the recipe of how you're doing?
No.
No. We really want to, I don't know, not teach, but learn what we can do to
Yeah.
other people.
Because we love to learn what others do that we
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love to see what camera they use, what flash they use,
Yeah.
how they take the pictures, how they edit the pictures. That's the best part.
Yes.
But I think we have to be better on telling people.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing. I mean, both me and David, we like that a lot. We tell people all our secrets. We have nothing left after all the courses. But it's really, I don't say. I mean, it's a gift that you can give, and then when you see others picking up certain small bits and pieces and learning, it's so fulfilling.
Yes,
it is.
And just trying to keep secrets for yourself. For me, when I tell people over there about secrets that I use with light, it forces me to also evolve.
Exactly.
That's the
Because
thing.
I need to improve, so I can still be a little bit better and be on this side of the camera and not on the other side watching them next time. So
And when I think that when you are putting words on what you are doing, you have to process it and think, which makes it goes even deeper in your spine instead of being
Yeah.
just logical stuff. It's like
That's so true.
when you have a child that's going to have an exam or test or proof.
Yes.
If that child makes a test for you as a parent, that is the best way for the child to learn.
Yeah.
When he or she has to explain and
Yeah.
make questions, and because then it gets stuck in another part of the brain. The third part, back here,
The man bun.
yeah, the man bun part. So I think
You have
for
one
me
too.
actually for me that is why I love to teach and why I
Yes.
love to tell how things work, because
And
then
sharing is
I-
caring.
Yeah.
Sharing
It
is
is,
caring.
and I
Yeah.
think everybody should be, we should be definitely better on like thinking about that part.
Because
Yeah.
when you see a picture that you really like, then you want to take that picture as well. And then you want to learn how to do it. And yeah.
Yeah.
And that is so true.
Yes.
And talking about knowledge, I mean, you did watch David's Fundamentals of Lighting
Yes,
before
I
you
loved
went
it.
to. You loved it, okay. What was it with it?
No, the thing is, like when we bought free flashes, we had no one to learn how to work with the flashes. We had no one to ask. We were in the middle of nowhere on the countryside, and it was only me and Mira.
And some dangerous chickens, or
Yeah, rooster. Some dangerous roosters.
Yes.
And they was trying to kill Mira. Also, so it was really stressy.
I was 1 year old though.
No, but it was really hard for us to learn like those basic kind of things, and like if you move the light here, this happens, and if you take the light underneath, this happened.
And why doesn't they work together as they are supposed to work
So
together? So
for us, like watching it was one key of learning to use Profoto, even
and
though
step
the
over the
Profoto
big step of trying again.
Yes,
to
exactly.
Not be afraid of flashes.
and also that the Profoto flash is so much easier than the first one we had. But for us, it was amazing to look at your academy.
it's really fun. How do you say that in English? The kul att höra.
Satisfying.
Satisfying to hear, because we put a lot of work in it, and I mean it's all the things I'm saying in there is true. I mean, and nothing is rocket science. It's really simple stuff, but
If you know them.
if you know them, of course. But I mean, it's like everything connects to everything. So when you watch it, I think that if you are, going back and look again, I think that we'll find new things all the time,
Yeah.
because it's so jam-packed with small.
There's a lot of content in that,
Yeah.
and that's why it's appealing for even if you're a beginner, you can watch it and you capture certain things. And if you're a more advanced photographer or more advanced lighting with lighting, you still pick up some new stuff in there. So it's
Exactly.
So
And
I
then
think
we didn't go to school, a camera school. Do you say camera school?
photography school. No, you learn everything about cameras. Now you can take them apart and put them together.
Photography school. No. So for us, it was like having someone that you can listen to, and having someone that can learn you, like the things that you want to know in the beginning was amazing. Because you don't always have someone to ask.
I'm just mad that you're moving so fast. I guess it's the T word again. What was it called? Talent, right?
Yeah, that T word.
Yeah, that T word.
And they were standing there telling everybody how happy you are by teaching people, and then you get angry.
In a way,
two sides of the coin.
It's too fast, too soon. But it's really amazing to follow your journey and see how you've taken the knowledge and you're still making your thing out of it. And you're not recreating your imagery language. I mean, it's still, you can still look at the image and say, oh, there's a Mira and Thilda image.
Yeah, and it's also us in the picture, so that's
That's mainly the main reason why I know. No, but it's really you haven't, and how you're extending and working with the nature and so forth. So it's really hats off. Really,
thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank you.
Blushing. Yeah, it's your moment. You really deserve it.
Yeah.
And as you are taking pictures like you are doing, where the background is so kind of, it's not dominant, but it has an important part of the image. Because if you just take an image where the background is completely black and there's a very flash only on you sitting in a light spot, it could be anywhere. But you want to make sure that you can tell that this is actually in Marrakesh, that where you are in the Medina, you are in this desert tent and so forth. That's where sometimes when you work with that, your shutter speed can be a little bit low.
Yeah.
Because you use live view and then you expose the camera for the background, and then you add flash afterwards. But when you end up with that, there's a trick.
Yeah, there is a trick. Exactly.
And
we have
how do you
named-
handle
Exactly.
that situation where your shutter speed is too low, but your background is perfect and you want to work? What
Yes.
would you do then?
Then
Because
we
we have
have-
about 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay, so there is this trick that we have named the click trick. Ta-ta, it's a really good name. I think actually Anders was the one who named
Named
it. Yeah.
My contribution to the world.
Yes, the click trick. So if I just take the camera so I can hold it and feel what I'm doing.
Oh, and I'll take maybe a gimbal.
So what we are talking about is that when you, as you are doing, you're using the background to be a very important part of your imagery.
Yeah.
And I mean, we all know that the shutter speed is the thing that controls how much light from the background is coming into the camera. In other words, the shutter speed controls the brightness and the darkness of the background.
Yes.
And if the background is important, which it is in your case, the shutter speed is kind of important.
Yes.
Yes, because the flash doesn't give a shit about the shutter speed. You can have any shutter speed and the flash will be as strong anyway. Okay. So what you are now I'm talking to you like you don't know, but no, I know that you know this. But
But this is a really good
But
here
that's a
might
really
not
good
know.
so I use you to speak to. Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So you can speak here. to
Yes,
me.
I can. Okay, so I have the camera here, and oh, look over here. We have Ken. Here we have Mr. Ken.
Yes.
And so if I have my beautiful camera here, I have live view on. It's
And
a-
now, so it looks dark. What are your
Yes.
settings? You
So what I want to do right now, I want to set the background so the background looks nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So the settings now is, let's see, it's ISO 100, 1/80th of a second, and aperture 4.0.
Okay.
Right.
And a very dark background.
Yes, it's a very dark background. So I start with my background. I want to have the aperture at 4.0 because I want it to be blurry. This is a 24 to 105, so 4.0 is the blah blah blah. So if I just change my shutter speed like this, just to create the background as bright as I want. Let's see, I want it to be around maybe here, like that.
Yeah.
So I have a bright background, but then I have the shutter speed here. It's only
A tenth of a second.
and a tenth of a second will create shakiness, especially
Yeah, motion blur.
if people in the background are moving or so. So I want to have a faster shutter speed, but I want this background to look as it does now. What I can do then is to raise the ISO, of course, and that is what I'm intending to do. But the click trick comes in here. When I change the shutter speed so it becomes the speed I want, which would be like maybe 1/80th of a second here, then if I count the number of clicks when changing
Put it close
the
to your
shutter
microphone so we can hear the clicks.
speed. Okay, here is the microphone. So let's see now, how many clicks is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9 clicks.
9 clicks. Okay, so now I have the shutter speed that I want, 1/80th of a second. But it's way too dark, so I will raise ISO. 9 clicks. I will raise the ISO the same amount of clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now I have my shutter speed and I have my background as I want, and Mr. Ken as in sharpness. And now we don't have any flash, but this
Okay.
is the click trick.
So basically, so what you do there is that you actually increase your shutter speed, but you still, and then use the ISO to pump it up, and then you have the same exposure, but with a faster shutter speed.
Exactly, and the
You
trick is to
counting-
count the clicks, because the clicks are the even amount of light coming in. Oh, how should I say that in English?
So if 3 clicks on the shutter speed
Yeah,
is the same as 3 clicks on the ISO.
exactly,
So if you move them in the same direction, up or down, then you keep the exposure
exactly.
the same.
So if you count the number of clicks, then it's really easy to fast compensate.
Yeah.
Like that. And actually, 3 clicks, that is doubling or making the light half as much.
Yeah, so that's 1 f-stop.
Exactly. So the number of 3 clicks is 1 f-stop. And the same with the aperture and with the shutter speed and with ISO. So count the number of clicks, and you will be really fast when you're shooting to compensate with ISO versus the shutter speed.
And for those of you who want to, I'm going to switch over to a different camera, back to this camera here. And for those of you who want to know more about this, there's of course plenty of stuff in the fundamentals of lighting, where it's scripted, and we have a view of the actual camera, and you can see the images, and it's all.
But it's a really good
Yeah.
trick. I didn't
it
know
is.
about this before.
No, so there's quite a few people that actually are aware of that. There's a reason why the cameras click.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
Good tip.
we are running out of time. This is so much fun, and
Yes.
it's
It was
been
really
a
fun coming
pleasure
here.
to have
Yeah,
you
thank
here.
you so much for having us.
And all you guys, we have one greasy forehead. And for anyone out there,
That's not a good trick.
follow Mira Thilda on Instagram and their journey with Flash. And I'm following, and I'm continuing, and I will find one day. I'll find that image where I will put it. No, you did it
Of
wrong.
course it will.
I'm looking like a hawk. No, I'm honestly really happy to see the journey you've done in such a short time. Basically showing that you can start using Flash without. I know Dave Henderson in Scotland, he mentioned that the fear of Flash is there, but it doesn't have to be there. You don't have to be afraid of Flash, and you don't have to change the way you shoot or the way your images look completely. You can just incorporate that and enhance it when needed. Because it's not that you need Flash on every single image, but there are occasions where now I need a little bit more Flash.
Yes. I have to say something, because you said that you will come back to some question about beauty dish or...
Oh, that's right. Thank you. That was for our Dutch friend. If you have a beauty dish with diffusion on, diffusion on the beauty dish, compare that with a 2-foot Octa.
Okay.
So now you know the OCF beauty dish
Yes.
has the diffusion that comes with it.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
Between a 2-foot...
Yeah, if you think
Octa
about
with
all the
diffusion and a beauty
spaghettis
dish.
and photons, and will the light be different if you put the diffusion on a beauty dish?
Quick answer, there won't be any noticeable difference, I would say. To be a little bit more to put some more depth into that answer, if I haven't done that, but if you take a picture of your OCF Octa with the diffusion on, you can actually see the light source, how it looks, because I don't know how it will look, if it will be evenly
So
even or not.
if you take the because you have a center plate
Yeah,
that blocks off the hotspot. If you take
Exactly.
that off,
yeah.
what's the difference between those two? I mean, the beauty dish is slightly shallower while the Octa is deeper. Will that make a difference?
It will not make a difference if you have a diffusion.
Exactly. So if
With
you have
diffusion,
a diffusion,
it doesn't matter how deep it is, because the light source is only that flat part.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what happens behind it, because the light rays will diverge from the white surface
Exactly.
in almost 180 degrees.
yeah. So if you take the plate out, no difference between the 2-foot Octa and the beauty dish.
Yeah, well, it still depends on if you take that, as I said, if you take the picture against the diffusion part, because if you take away the plate, you might have a much brighter hotspot in the diffusion.
Uh-huh.
And then you will have a difference in the penumbra distribution. The distribution will be different.
Yeah, exactly. If
But-
you have a
but-
hotspot or not.
Exactly. But if you don't have a hotspot,
Yeah.
then if you don't have a hotspot, I mean, then you end up with two light sources that looks
Because
exactly
they're
the
both
same.
2 foot
Yeah.
wide.
Then you won't have any difference.
Okay. So
But I
short,
do not
so
know
much
about the light.
so the short answer is no.
Yes, and
Most
the long
probably.
answer is
Rewind and watch this again.
rewind from this position and 2 minutes back. And then you come back here and say, okay, there we are back.
Yeah. So yeah. I think that's about it. We need to thank you and
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
It
so
was
much.
amazing
Thank
to
you
be
so
here.
much.
Yes.
And there might be some questions and comments. Now this is now 2 clips on Facebook since we had this little interruption. I will put them together and make 1 clip on YouTube. So we'll have it all as 1 clip.
You are so good with technical stuff.
Oh yes. But in Facebook, unfortunately, you can't edit and cut together, so it will be 2. So we have to follow these 2, and if people have posted questions, we can go in and encourage you as well, because there might be some personal questions for you as well.
We will answer them.
And then
Yeah.
go in and look at those questions, because it's a good crowd out there, and we try to answer as many questions as we can. Most of them we answer live, but today, since it's been a lot of people here and a lot of things going on, I haven't been able to track all those questions. And did you use any color modifiers when you were out in Marrakesh? Did you
one
have?
time, gel.
You had the gel, like
one orange gel.
Oh yeah,
I
the
don't
orange
know
gel.
which-
Yes, so made it more warmer.
Warm, yeah, exactly.
To match
Yeah.
the light.
Yes.
Kind of, trying to.
Surrounding light.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
But we'll continue talking about on the next episode for another hour. We could easily spend another hour talking to you guys.
We
It's
would
so much
love
fun. Yeah. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank
thank you
you.
guys, and see you
Ba-da-bum,
next
ba-da-bum.
week.
Yes. Bye bye.
Bye bye.